Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And to our viewing audience, thank you for tuning in. I'd like to call this meeting of the Neighborhood Improvement Services Advisory Committee to order. At this time, I'll go ahead and do the invocation. God of power and might, wisdom and justice, through you authority is rightly administered, laws are enacted, and judgment is decreed. Assist us with your spirit, counsel, and fortitude. May we always seek the ways of the righteous, justice, and mercy. Grant that we may be enabled to protect the dignity of all human life and to create opportunities for those less fortunate than ourselves. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Again, welcome. I see that we do have a change to the agenda. Before I ask if there's any others, I'll go ahead and give this one. On line 7, instead of the actual or the annual action plan, we're going to be doing a caper, which is the correction. Oh, no. They'll explain what that is. Okay. Are there any other additions or corrections to the agenda?
I'll move that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The agenda has been adopted. At this time, I'm just going to say to the audience, my name is Steve Forney. I am the vice chair. Our chair will be joining us shortly, and he'll take over the meeting at that point. But until that happens, we're just keeping everything on schedule. Next in line is the approval of the minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to take a look at those?
I motion to adopt the minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The approval of the minutes has passed. Planning board update. We did have a meeting on Monday, July 11th. First time since about March. Unfortunately, I was not present at that meeting. So I do know that they did their nominations and elections. I don't know where I hit on that one, but I'll find out, I'm sure. There were 2 items. One was a Unified Development Ordinance text amendment, and that had to do with some of the properties along Huff Drive. And it was going to be a change in what would call specific standard use items. And as recommended by our, I should say, the city representatives, I do not believe that got a recommendation to the affirmative to go to council. And we cited several items of other city codes. The other thing that we had was a map amendment many months ago, and I think it may have been in the March timeframe. A real estate developer asked us to voluntarily annex certain properties. We did that, then they came back this time and asked us to zone them. So I think that did go forward. And that is all with the planning board.
Can I ask real quick, what is a standard use item?
When we talk about those, when you're dealing with residential properties, you can either have low density or high density. And other items that can be included in those properties are medical offices, library, instructional institutions, and there's a whole line item. And those residents were asking that a medical use property have higher standards of separation than what is deemed.
Okay.
And in this case, there were several cited, shall we say, legal cases where they attempted to change those, and legally they could not.
Okay.
So, okay. And now, Tracy, Community Development.
Good evening, everyone. I will be going over several things on our agenda to include our CDBG funding with the CARES Act, our consolidated annual report for the HUD end of year reporting system, the community development projects, and of course, we'll have a town center update. The CDBG funding with the CARES Act, so far we have processed 705 applications for the utility assistance program. We have assisted 265 households for a total of $126,836 that have been spent out of the CARES Act money that we received in 2020. That total amount was $530,000. And a little bit over 496 of those dollars have been spent. So we have about $33,000 left in the CARES Act funding. We had 6 years to spend that, and we had to spend at least half of that money in the 3-year period. So we are on track to spend those funds, and hopefully we will finish that out probably the end of this year. The annual action plan was approved by council June 21st. The submission deadline was July 11th, and now we are required to submit a consolidated annual performance evaluation report. The comment period for that is going to start September the 5th, ongoing through September 24th, and then we will have a submission to HUD on September 27th. And what that report does is tell the public how we spent the money, and also tells HUD that we were in compliance in the way that we spend the money. So we're going to be reporting that out to HUD and submitting that, and afterwards they will tell us that this is true, you spent the money in accordance to all of the regulations, and we will also go back out and let the public know that this is what HUD found, and then we'll be submitting that last piece of that report in December. So that is about a 3-month process, a 4-month process, all the way till the end of December.
I have a question. Is that an internal report that your office generates to send out?
Yes.
Or is that from an outside?
It is a internal report. This is the financial piece that goes with all of the activities that was reported in our annual action plan.
Okay.
So this is for fiscal year 21-22.
Okay. So it's not like a check and balance type thing. It's just something you have to set up. Okay.
Yes. Okay. I also want to give you update about some CD projects. As you know, we have purchased about 5 properties in Country Club Villas. We have renovated 2 of the properties and sold them to home buyers. We have currently 1 for sale at 516 Myrtlewood, and we currently have these last 2 under renovation at 427 and 429 Myrtlewood Circle. And this shows, of course, the before pictures, and this is some of the during pictures of during renovations and the accomplishments that we have done over the course of the construction process. We replaced some roofs, some trusses, and we're going to be ongoing with that. We also had a demolition that we completed. Pamela Trafton, she is going to be giving you updates on that. But first, Town Center Apartments, we're going to defer.
Well, really right now, only thing I do have, and I know we were gonna try, I gotta talk to Brett, try to meet with him this week. The last thing that I found out is they were trying to move around some of the tenants to better apartments. So those that they can keep there, they will. They have actually talked to HUD, and they're gonna actually do a waiver for the Section 8 vouchers, so they'll be able to have more money towards this to housing. So looks like it's gonna work for those folks. There were about 20-something squatters there at one time. I think it was about 25. And over a month period, they worked towards getting those folks out. So that's happening. So stay tuned.
I do know that they have pulled some permits and they have begun renovations for several of those apartments. Can you speak to as far as the location of those units?
No, I can't right now. I can't.
Yeah, I want to say that they're going back toward where the housing support, Onslow Community Outreach, the housing support center back in that corner of New River. That's where they're starting at.
Yeah, I've seen demolition in that area lately by the soup kitchen entrance. Yeah,
Yes,
there's a company down there.
yeah, okay. I think they're back up in, back in there, okay.
Clearing
I
down the
know.
houses, clearing down some trees.
I know like about maybe a year or two ago, you guys gave a list on how many, the breakdown of who owns what out there. So if any of our listening audience may be interested, like, you know, a private company owns this many, so many are owned by individual groups, and then there are some personal homes out there too. So when we say in town center and they just hear it, they don't think it applies to everything as a whole.
Right.
So we may want to throw that up there in the future because I got asked a question about that, and I said, well, some of those are individually owned, and that's separate from the rest of it.
Right, 'cause
So
Community Investment Group, what's it about? Is it 691?
About 691 units.
691, but they, like you said, there are privately owned units and there
Yeah.
are houses back there, but can you all?
you know, just so we
you-
can be accurate, we had it
Yeah,
before.
some of those units, if they're not apartments, they're townhomes, and those townhomes are privately owned.
Right,
And we just recently went out and did an assessment out there, and some of those I call them those twin units,
right.
they have been renovated, and some of the owners have really put some great investment over there. They know that some improvements is coming to that area, so they have already begun the process and putting some great investment into their properties and improve them. So hopefully New River will turn a corner in about 2 or 3 years. You have some vacant properties that's still over there, but as Councilman Jackson said and shared, those people have been moved out of there as far as the people that did not belong in those units. So hopefully we can see an improvement.
Yeah, hopefully.
And I think all of Nelson Street are single-family dwellings that are privately owned.
Yes, so all of the single-family houses are privately owned. So they're part of the neighborhood, but they're not part of
Part of
this.
the town center, right?
This,
That's the one
this,
right behind the park, right?
And see how this is good information here, because just the viewing audience, they may think, hey, this applies to everyone. And then bad information can get passed around. So
Right.
if, you know, just like in our next meeting or something, we can just kind of throw it up, maybe even a map, so we can show them a graphic of what it looks like. Maybe,
Okay.
I don't know.
the 690 units
Yes,
that community investment is renovating.
Yes.
I think you had a question?
Do we have any idea what's being done with the squatters, for lack of a better word?
From what I understand, they were finding other housing for them or other resources for them to go to try to find better housing. I can't say exactly what they were doing.
Is Onslow Community Outreach, is the center still letting people stay there?
Yes, they're,
Right.
they're still, you know, if they're not full, they're still letting people come in.
Okay,
Right.
so that's an option.
Yes. Okay, we have Pamela, she will give us an update on our demolition. and youth council.
While she's queuing up, also, like our next meeting, since we're talking about the updates and upgrades out in New River, is there like an update on Cmte that we can hear about in the future?
We can ask one of the project site managers to come in and give you an update
Yes, ma'am.
about that, or the director of the recreation and buildings and grounds over there, Michael LaCory. We'll see whether or not they can come and speak to us. But we will have a representative to you that'll come and present to you next time.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
All right, good evening, everyone. This is our demolition update. This house specifically is our 160th demolition. That's what it looked like prior to, and that's what it currently looks like now. So great that we've been keeping track of how many demolitions we've done since 2010, and this one marked 160. We are still working on having a few more come down the pipeline. So if you have any dilapidated structures in your community within the city limits of Jacksonville, please reach out to us so we can go out and do an investigation, reach out to the homeowners and see if they would be interested in taking part of our program in removing slum and blight in the community. It is a grant for those that are not aware of the program. It's a grant up to $10,000 once it's been approved, and anything more than $10,000, the homeowner would have to pay for that. But throughout the entire process, they would know if we were going to exceed that $10,000 mark.
Yeah, are any liens or anything like that put on that property from the city since the city tore it down?
No, sir, it is a grant, so no liens placed on it.
And no restrictions, what, like if it was, you know, like a 4-bedroom home on there, they can throw a 4-bedroom home back on there or something like that?
They would have to follow whatever the planning guidelines are at
For
that point.
community.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, sir. So yes, definitely help us eliminate slum and blight. The other thing about it is the city does not take the land from the homeowner, so they still own it. I know that's a question that comes up a lot, whether the city will now become the owner. We do not. We are just assisting the homeowner in removing the slum and blight.
I had a cup of coffee before I came.
We
I'm
do
sorry.
require you to maintain the property once we abate the nuisance, but we also have a process. So no one just can say, you know what, I want this house gone. We have a process where it has to be dilapidated at least 51% of the value. And we have our building inspectors go in and make that determination. So we have had several people that come and, you know, let us know they want their house torn down, but we say no, the value is still in the house. So we don't just tear it down just to tear it down.
I will say this too. If the house has been deemed dilapidated and the grant is offered, do understand a lot of opportunity has been given to the owner to take care of that. But if the city has decided that this is what's gonna happen, either you can take the grant or the city can tear it down and then a lien will be put on the property.
Yeah, so that becomes the involuntary,
Yeah.
where our process allows us to do voluntary. And then if code enforcement has identified a property, we will reach out to that homeowner, offer them the voluntary. If we do not get a response back or no response back basically, then code enforcement can continue the process to bring that same property before city council where it becomes involuntary. And then that's where the lien does come into place.
And know that we do everything that we can to make sure that we offer voluntary compliance, because, you know, involuntary compliance, it becomes costly. And as Councilman Jackson said, we will put a lien on that property. We don't like to take them before council, but we do have resources that we will.
And this is if the property is like beyond a state of repair or just too
That is correct.
unlivable?
Yes.
Where they can cause harm to themselves if they keep living there, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you said a good word. If somebody's living there, at that time we cannot assist if they are living there.
Okay.
because we do not want to make anybody homeless or make anybody homeless at that point. So the home must be vacant and the home must be in a dilapidated repair.
Thank you.
All right, good question. All right, so starting with Youth Council, we are getting started for our new school year. We have had an opportunity to have recruitment at our National Night Out. Now we're trying to do a school has been in for some students already, and then we're preparing for the rest of the county that start school on August 29th. And we want them to come out to a movie night. This is open to all youth council members and high school teens. So Onslow County and Camp Lejeune high school students. It's this Friday, August 26th from 6 to 9. Registration is required, so we know how many will be in attendance. And it will be at the Jacksonville Youth Center, which is right across the street from City Hall. So from 6 to 9 this Friday. All right. Under money management, our next money management is October 1st from 9 to 12. We just had money management this past Saturday. I had 12 people in attendance, and I am looking for more to attend October 1st as this is the last one of 2022. So a lot of people have gone through the class already. Some can be a testament to the class in itself, but our money management has definitely helped a lot of people. Great testimony. Our presenter, Rachel Gerald, said she had just left the class Saturday, went to Lowe's parking lot. Somebody ran into her and was like, hey, you're the financial lady, and was able to say that she raised her FICO score from 416 to 750 just by implementing what was taught in class. So this is for any and everybody. I've had retired military officers come to the class and still say they learned something. So nobody is too good for financial literacy. All right, so October 1st, 9 to 12. Our home ownership, September 17th is 8 to 5. It's $25 per person. We still have some openings available for this one. Those that are interested in being a homeowner, whether you are a true first-time homeowner or by definition 3 years removed from being a homeowner, this class is for you. I highly suggest if you have a significant other to sign up with them as well for the class, to come through the class together. It is a great opportunity to learn about the city programs and other various programs for those that are interested in purchasing a home, and also finding out the details of what the city can offer with our down payment assistance options. And becoming a homeowner, with that as your goal, Ms. Tracy talked about earlier at 516 Myrtlewood Circle, we have this home that is up for sale currently at $120,000. It is a 3-bedroom, 1.5 townhome in Country Club Villas, right in the heart of Jacksonville off of Western Boulevard and Country Club. It has been completely renovated from the inside out. New laminate floors throughout the entire home, new cabinets, new appliances. When I say new, I mean new. All right, all the way upstairs. There is no carpet in this home, new fixtures, the whole 9 yards. We are in the process of having fence bids turned in. So if you know anybody that does fence installation, I'm still accepting bids to come in for a privacy wood fence. And it has a home security system as well. So our new homeowner is getting ready to take advantage of a gym in the area of Country Club Villas. And the 2 homes that you saw previously, 427 and 429 Myrtlewood, they are going through the exact same renovation. So we will have 3 homes total waiting on a new homeowner. So do not delay. Spend Christmas in your brand new home. Put the Christmas tree in the windows and let the lights twinkle.
Where would somebody reach you if they wanted to offer a fencing bid?
So they can contact me at 910-938-6551.
You forgot, great school district, walking distance from the mall.
Yes, it is, like I said, that heart. So they come right out the neighborhood, end up in the mall parking lot. and go to, yeah, right there in the heart. Down the street from the hospital. Great location, great location. All right, for our nonprofits that are watching and that are in the meeting today, we have a nonprofit executive director meetup. This is an opportunity for our executive directors to get together, strategize, talk about what issues or what challenges they have been seeing within their nonprofit, brainstorm with each other, and help pretty much garner the networking that is needed amongst our nonprofits. It's great for those that are brand new executive directors and those that are veteran executive directors, because the amount of experience that is in the room and the conversations that take place are always beneficial. So if you are a nonprofit executive director, please register for our next one, which is Thursday, September 15th from 11 to 1. All right. And that is all.
Okay, now we're to our one city, my city, our city moment. At this time, we'll run the table if anyone have any of these moments.
Right. Well, I tell you, the biggest moment is that we have hired a new city manager.
Okay.
Mr. Joshua Ray. He'll be coming in from Tennessee, but originally from Waynesboro, North Carolina. We're really looking forward to his energy and, you know, the direction in which we can move forward with a new city manager. So pick up where we left off and just keep moving. Go with that.
And we're gonna go with that? Okay.
Go with that.
All right. All right.
I have a
Pete-
quick question.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
And that might not be the, I don't know if it's city or not. You know, the bypass, if you're taking the bypass where it ends, all the way down to the end of the bypass, you know, there's a Verizon over here and trees over here. Hilton, is that the Hilton right here on
Yes,
that
ma'am.
side? Like if you were taking it from here and just empty into Western, you can go across and that take you into the Commons.
Right.
I saw a sign for a future home of something, and I was
One
wondering,
place.
what is that about?
One place from, I actually, went online, it says it's a feature for Onslow County, like not a child development center, but a child resource center where you can go get all different kind of resources. It's
Is
actually,
that the new name of Partnership for Children?
Partnership for
Here.
Children.
Okay, I got you.
but it's called, they call it
Partnership.
Partnership for Children.
Partnership for Children.
partnership.
Yeah, it's their
That's-
new name.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's right.
Like
Here's
speech
the zone
therapy
downtown.
or-
Huh?
It's and then you can actually go to one place, put it in your Google, and it'll pull it up right here in Onslow County.
Their focus is early childhood issues, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
They started off with Smart Start under Governor Hunt and evolved over time into one location where, and you know, kids who have been abused, neglected,
Right.
just all those kind of things, you know.
Okay.
Nutrition. everything.
Resources,
Yeah. I couldn't figure out what that name, because I knew it, I just couldn't.
Yes,
figure out
ma'am.
what the purpose was. And that is within the city
Right.
limits.
And, okay, any future agenda topics that we want to discuss?
Well, we were talking about it briefly before. It's something that I wanted to do anyway. I briefly was talking to Pam and Tracy about this, is doing some town hall
Yes, sir.
type meetings.
Yes, sir.
And so that's, I want us to start moving forward. I'll start in Ward 1,
Okay.
and then we can kind of go from there.
Yes, sir. And kind of what we talked about is, engaging all of our city council men and women to actively hold town halls in their wards. So it'll do two things, I believe. It'll bring awareness to what's going on as a city. Also, no one will be kept in the dark concerning their ward. And so just because they don't ask for the information don't mean it should be it shouldn't be put out there for them. So it's a two-way thing. It'll help
It's communication.
communication with their constituents and feedback all the time. So we have been talking about it several times. So I approached Mr. Jackson, and so that's one of the things we want to actually talk about, and maybe we can get some of those city council members in here to talk about it more, if they would like.
I'm willing to do that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And I have the time to do it. I'll create the
Okay,
time.
thank you, sir.
I
About
think,
10 to 15 years ago, we did go out into the public. And when we first did that, all of the questions being addressed to us concerned sanitation, recreation, police force, fire. And what we found out was, when we went to the next one, we needed to have
Those people right there
representatives,
with it. Yeah.
basically from all department heads. And I think it went over quite well.
She had
But
the
it was
resource.
funny how they didn't want to know anything about what we were doing
Yeah.
as community development. They wanted to know about all these things and had either never known who to call or had tried and didn't get any direct answers. So like you said, we started bringing people with us, and it went over.
Well, you did it. You did it because you
Yeah.
showed up. You made the event happen.
And that's what happens. That's what I've been finding out now since I'm getting a little bit older. I always think about the person that's older than me trying to figure out how to navigate the city, who to call. And if you call one office, you have to call over here, and you call over here. No, that's not us. Go to that building down there. And like if we have those representatives, and I know we all say the same thing. We have a nice little directory and it's in your water bill and all that good stuff. But think about those people who are still accustomed to talking to people face to face and then we got a lot of those folks around here, as you saw with census, that want to talk to people face to face.
And we did that before COVID hit, because
Yes.
we did it at Sandy Run Church a couple of different times.
and I think when we have
Before
our new,
hurricane.
when we have our new city manager come on board, that may be
A good opportunity.
a priority that he wants to address once he comes in, find out what council's priorities are, and see how we can fit, our concerns in those priorities. So we're gonna have, as Councilman Jackson said, we're gonna have a new city manager that is going to start on September 12th. So we don't wanna get ahead of him when he comes in and tries to manage. So we're going to, of course, he's gonna meet with us, have all of our concerns and issues addressed so that he can prioritize those and meet council's priorities as well. So all of these are great ideas. I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to share our successes and historically what has worked and what hasn't worked. I'm pretty sure just to give them a fair chance to come in and be able to have some ideas and implement what he believes can help us meet all of our goals. So
I think that's really a good idea to do
Yeah,
things.
but
Because, there's obviously a serious disconnect between the public everywhere and elected officials and government everywhere. People don't know how this government operates. They don't know how the local and state or the national government operates. And so the anger and mistrust you hear, most of it, in my opinion, is based upon you just simply don't even know how your government works. And so when you're mad about something that either has happened or has not happened, if you knew what I learned in elementary school in social studies class, you would not, the anger just wouldn't be there. You may not be happy with the decision or how it might have gone specifically, but you wouldn't have this just effusive anger and all this messiness that's going on that you just can't, you have to lock yourself up in the house to avoid it. And it's very disturbing, it really is. And I wonder about children, watching adults around them behaving the way we're doing. So I think that, I really like that.
And we also have the opportunity to, because a lot of times people think government should take care of everything, but there's so many other nonprofits that are doing a lot of great work out there that we might
It just needs support.
point them to, so. I
Do
think
you all
it'd be
still do
opportunity.
the classes? I've taken the one for city and the county, I think it's city and county, where you can go and you have a series of
Leadership
Leadership
class,
courses.
leadership courses, right?
and you just learn everything.
Yeah, they need to kick
Not through the chamber.
I know the county did, but I
It was
don't
done
know,
through
we
the,
started that back, yeah.
It was done through the chamber.
No,
Yeah,
not
the chamber did one, but then we had,
There's a cost involved in that. The city was just.
I know the county had
Come
did
in.
one and we had started one as well, but I don't know if we started back yet.
We have not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but that is a really good
It
way
is. It
of
really is.
learning. You go to different departments and you actually see stuff and you meet people and so on. It really makes, you see, you can picture somebody in your head when you're thinking about fire or police or whatever, instead of just a word on a piece of paper or on a TV screen, so
Well, I also wanted to address and make an announcement also to our committee is so concerned about getting hurricane information out to the public and also having information available for the community to discuss resources during a natural disaster. So I wanted to announce that HUD has identified one of 40 cities, entitlement cities, and Jacksonville was one. We had to apply to the Climate Communities Technical Assistance Program, and it's funded by HUD. And what it will do is help us to develop a resiliency plan for natural disasters. So I am happy to report that I got an email that says, thank you for your interest and commitment to advancing equitable climate resilience in your community by applying to HUD's Climate Community Technical Assistance Program. We are delighted to inform you that Jacksonville, North Carolina has been selected to participate in the program. So we're going to be working with this, the technical assistance. These people are from the Innovative Emergency Management and Enterprise Community Partners. We're going to be working with them over the next 18 months. Of course, we're going to also be working within out in the community with this group and also with our departments within the city so that we can develop a resiliency plan in case we have a natural disaster. We will know where to go to get information, who's going to be our hub, who is going to be, let's say we got a truckload of water coming in and they don't know who to send it to. Well, our website will tell those folks who would like to help us where to go and who to contact when we have those type of resources coming in. So we're going to be working with several partners so that we can get our resiliency plan for this area.
I was thinking about something about future topics, and I've been thinking about this for a while. And I know my tenure as a chairperson is probably, coming to a quick end. But I was thinking about around the room about task organizing certain things, because we come in and we just kind of throw everything on the table and we start talking and nobody really takes it for action individually or as a group. Like we know Ms. Marcia, when we did the census and voting, she's always on top of that. So like that would be her niche. Like we got Brother Jonathan, how when the whole thing that was going down over in Town Center, he could have been our lead on that, so he's feeding us information. And we all kind of take something. So when we come, we're not just pretty much dumping everything, but we have people who can speak to it besides Mr. Jackson.
We could do a solution, but become solution oriented.
We can, we're bringing issues, but also we're bringing solutions. And that's just something to think about, as we kind of move forward. Just something, we can probably talk about it offline, if you don't like it, it's okay,
It sounds good.
And it's just a thought, because I think we'll get more of our effort when we come to these meetings. if we just a quick little point paper, hey, what do you have? Just almost like we do with the planning board and all these other boards. Hey, this group do this group. And they can be active and energetic about it. And then we just don't have a, hey, what about, because that's kind of what we want to get away from and start bringing solutions and better ideas. But, we'll wait on the new city manager.
I'm sure we won't have any problem with that.
I'm just,
Okay.
So any questions or comments? And if we can just kind of do it like, just kind of go around the room, any questions and comments? If you have anything, sir.
I am good tonight, thank you.
Hey, great. Yes, sir. Good to see you.
None.
I have nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think I have anything right this minute.
Yes, sir. Good to see you.
I have a quick concern. I was walking on Henderson, and right in front of the high school, I noticed Jacksonville High.
Okay.
I noticed that one of the electrical posts was leaning over a bit way too much. It's a wooden one and it's old, and I only say this because I saw that they were renovating some of the electrical posts, and I was wondering if anybody had information if they were going to keep going down Henderson towards more of the residential area, because I know that the renovations were happening more of in the industrial part of Henderson where the doctor's offices are and whatnot. And as I was walking it, I noticed that this one post, there's two of them, but there's one in particular that's leaning over. It's weighed down way too much with too many electrical
So
wires.
it's on across from Jacksonville, it's near Jacksonville High School?
Yes, yes.
And,
Like in between the shopping center and the high school.
and this is what I would say, even to our board and anybody that's watching, when you see something like that, take a picture of it and then report it to the city, whether it's to the, if it's something with the Roten, I think they call it grounds and roads or whatever they call that department, or parks and rec, streets and grounds, that's what it's called. Or if you see utilities, you take a picture of
If you
it, bring
forward
it down
you forward
here.
to me, I can forward it.
Or he can,
Okay.
and that's the quickest way to get anything done here. You take a picture of it and report it, and most of the time what I do is probably not the right way.
You can call us and we will help you.
That is the right way.
And
You don't have to, you do not have to wait until a meeting to bring that issue
Yeah,
up.
it kind of just falls into the whole thing where we were talking about before, where if we had the knowledge, you were talking about more of the elderly, but I myself
Yeah.
don't know who to take that concern to, so
Okay.
I brought it here. And I saw it about 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So, it's just a matter of having that intermediary so that they can guide you so that the thing can get done, or if it's a problem that somebody can get hurt,
Yes, sir.
it can be addressed somehow.
The line for that goes across the street?
Yes, it does. It goes towards the high school parking lot, more or less. And it's way off of 90 degrees.
And just to give an example how quick,
You know which one?
No, not that I know which one, but we're definitely your intermediary.
Yeah.
So that way, whenever you have
Yes.
any questions, you
Is
can call us. If you don't have our number on speed dial, you
Get
can
it
call
on
the
speed.
city
Or I can
and
email. I'm not gonna email it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Send y'all the
communicate with y'all.
Right.
Yeah, you
The
can
things-
send us a picture.
I'll do
the
so.
things
I'll
work
do
pretty
so.
quick,
Yeah, I'll make sure I send you one, Mr. Jackson. I'll send you one as well.
Yeah.
Because I brought up a question about a bike lane over in the Commons, and man, I was like, what did I get into? I just wanted a sign that say share the road. And I got about a 2 or 3 day lecture and explanation about it, which was good because it helped me understand some things, and that's good. Okay, it was right there.
I'll
Just,
make a comment. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to, while you thinking on that, just wanted to make an announcement that City Hall is gonna be closed for Labor Day. We also have a Patriot Day ceremony on September 9th. Backing up to August when we have the Mumford Point Marines celebration. It's gonna be August the 3rd, isn't it?
24.
20
Wednesday.
It's this
This
day,
week.
starts
The
this week.
25th, yeah, this week.
25th.
25th is
It should be
the
Thursday.
gold medal ceremony.
Thursday,
Thursday's
the Congressional Gold Medal Ceremony.
It's Thursday. I think
It's
the
Thur- it's
RSVP
Thursday.
day was already, has
Yeah.
come and gone on that.
So,
Okay.
please, the public can, if you can make it out, support Month for Point Marines. I think everything else has been covered as far as key dates.
Well, I guess if you all are welcome to come out on September 6th when I get sworn in.
Okay.
Officially,
Yes,
right?
Officially. Good. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Paula, I think we were to you.
I was gonna ask about, so a couple times a week, I usually take a long walk. And my long walk will usually take me up 17 north and then down Belfort Road and then down Hargett Street. And when I get to Hargett Street, I'm kind of having to get off the sidewalk and walk in the street, kind of in your bike lane, or sometimes in the street because of the overhang of vines and trees and there's a lot of that down Hargett Street. I don't know if it's still there or not, but I didn't know whether is the homeowner in that area, and this would be across from Belfort Homes. You know what I'm talking
I know
about?
exactly
Right
what you're
across
talking
from Belfort
I
Homes
bike
and
it
then
all the time.
further down there, so I end up walking, you end up,
Gotta get on the street.
yeah, you gotta get off the sidewalk, and then
The
further
city-
down,
The
coming
city
back
does
this
some
way.
trimming of that. I don't know
Mhm.
about, there definitely needs to be some more like.
If it's on the power
It's-
lines, the power company will come and take them out.
Yeah, but who calls the power company and
should
how
be-
does that get
Well, when it happened to
done?
me,
I mean,
I called the power company
Or
and just said,
I call the assistant city, well, interim city manager now, and then he'll make the call.
then, okay.
'Cause I used
So
to do
that-
that.
I'll take,
Dr.
you know,
Woodruff.
they know I'll take pictures and
Yeah.
and I did take pictures and I forgot to send them, but I'm glad that you mentioned what you
Yeah.
mentioned a few minutes ago, because.
Yes, please. If you have any
That's
problems,
bad.
any concerns, go ahead and email them to us. We don't have to wait until the meeting. Just send them to us so that we can get them addressed.
And when it comes to like vines hanging over like the sidewalks, we'll send it to our streets team, and what they'll do is they'll go out and assess it. If it's something that they can go ahead and take care of, they will. But if it's also an education opportunity, because homeowners are still responsible for up to the right of way. So they'll go ahead and explain that as well, where it's like,
What part is the
Homeowner.
right of way? Just right to this, so say this is the sidewalk, this paper right here, and this is homeowner. So if it's here and all,
then the homeowner, yeah.
so the
Yes.
homeowner is
It's coming
responsible
from-
even though it covers the sidewalk?
That is correct.
If it's on
Ma'am.
their side
Yeah,
of
'cause
the
it comes
sidewalk.
on their side.
So nobody lives there, right? So nobody lives in this house. It's
So then if
it's right
it's
there on
vacant,
Hargett
then
Street.
They may
Somebody's-
take care of it, but let's say if it's not vacant, then that homeowner would get the education of, you're still responsible for this, even though it's peeding over onto the sidewalk.
Right.
Okay.
And vacant or not, they're still a property owner, so I would imagine the city would probably look at the tax records and try to get that property owner to deal with it first. I would think.
Yeah, because it's almost like it's basically an education, so it's like an easement. An easement just gives permission for another agency to enter onto that property, but it's still the property owner's property. So that's why they're still ultimately responsible for it.
That's right.
nicely done.
Learning
Good
moment.
explanation of easement. That's like the best explanation of easement I've heard.
That's
That's great.
I guess I better get to work down there by my house.
Yeah.
You said a
You
vacant.
get a lot of water.
vacant house.
This is,
There's one house
The-
that's has somebody in it, it's like right next door to
and the
it.
other house does not, you know what I'm
Does not,
talking about.
yes, ma'am.
The other house does not, and the other house sits closer to the
Right up on
road,
the road.
and yet there's vines and,
Okay, I don't
and,
even think I know what you're
but it's
talking
right there on,
So it's on Belfort Road.
Well, you said
No,
Hargett
no,
Street.
it's on
Hargett
Hargett.
Street.
It's on
It's
Hargett
almost
Street.
coming right out.
Belfort
But it's
Homes.
after,
Belfort
Homes.
Homes, straight across.
yeah, across from Belfort Homes, a little ways down, not right there at the corner, but a little ways back toward this way. And then further down, there is a, what's that lady's name?
It's a brick house in a field.
Yeah, it's a brick house. It's an old brick house.
Yeah.
And nobody lives, I know nobody lives
Used to
there,
be,
but I don't know who,
So is it before the trail,
the Bradley
going towards
Town.
the seafood spot,
After the
or before, after the trail?
It's,
coming back this way.
it's on the other side of Enoch Lane.
That's
On
We're
the-
trying to
Oh,
get
right
it,
there.
okay.
I don't know the total name.
That's
Well,
I just
definitely
know-
we'll
I hate getting off
send
the
that to the
sidewalk.
appropriate department
Thank you.
and try to get it addressed if we can.
If you can.
Okay.
If you can, I can still walk in the street, it's all good.
That's how I
Now,
found
somebody else is
mine.
going
I
to,
take a
the
walk
property
around
owner
Grand
may
Junction
have
or
to do
something.
that as well, so we may have to, get code enforcement involved in it. So, if the city can assist, I'm pretty sure the city would assist, but sometimes we have to let property owners, take responsibilities of their property.
And those
They
city
know
folk
about it.
are busy. They are
Exactly.
everywhere. They do a fantastic job, holding down the weeds and filling in the holes and the best that they can. I mean, but they do a great job
It's
in the
incredible.
parks and stuff. So I imagine they'll get to it eventually.
Based on the
Well, mine-
low numbers we have, they do an excellent job.
They do.
Yeah.
I just want to remind everybody who's watching and all of us here and families and so on that our voting cycle is coming back around. We've already set up our early voting schedule and everything else. That's already been done because for those who don't know, the ballots and everything else, there's a preparation period. So it doesn't just happen on November the first Tuesday. There's preparation going on as we speak right now for that. And so early voting will start on October the 20th, that's a Thursday, and it will go on until November the 5th, if I'm, hope I'm getting those dates right. You'll see it published in various places. And yes, and it'll end on February 5th, I'm sorry, November 5th. And this is early voting. So we have our sites set up, you'll be hearing more about that, but, and all the Saturdays in between. So, the hours and the days are such that no one really has a reason why they cannot at some point or another get to the polls. Absentee balloting will also be available, not quite yet because the ballot has to be okayed, approved, so forth and so on, and then created. But that has to all be done no more than 60 days out. So when you count backwards from November, we're talking about September. And here we are at August the 22nd already. So please register if you haven't already. Have any questions about your registration, check it out with the North Carolina State Board of Elections, just on your phone. It takes about 30 seconds to do it. If you moved or had a name change or something like this, for those of you who just took your child off to school, college students, and left them at school, either go get them and bring them back home, or secure an absentee ballot for them because they need to. They're 18 years old. They need to be about the business of being an adult and a citizen of where they live.
That's right.
So any questions you might have, contact the County Board of Elections over in Georgetown, 246 Georgetown. But I strongly encourage, I've been on that soapbox for decades
Yes, ma'am.
and will continue to do it as long as I can do it. So please keep that in mind.
I do want to thank Ms. Wright for pointing that out. That is super important. Just to build on that, elections administration needs poll workers super duper bad, especially since COVID. It was already a thing that was kind of staffed by older people, retirees who had free time to do it. Between COVID and the progression of time, that pool of poll workers is dwindling. And so I just wanted to add that voting is literally the minimum you could do. And if you wanted to do a little more than the minimum, if you know somebody who maybe could spend a singular day on democracy, we definitely need more poll workers, more people actually working the polls, not just voting, but making sure there's somebody there to actually take your ballot.
Thank you so much for that, yes, and that is very important because once again, as I mentioned earlier, the disconnect between citizens and government is largely due to lack of information.
Sure.
And this whole business of safety and elections are not rigged, all this kind of misinformation you hear. Once somebody comes down there and works one of those elections, that evaporates because when they see what you have to do and what we do and what goes on, I have no idea. I said, come on down, find out, what has to
And
happen.
It's open
And
to
then go back and
anybody.
tell everybody that these elections are safe and they are to be trusted. But once again, come on down. And you make a very good point about the aging
Right.
of the population that normally is.
Especially like as it's computerizing, I will say myself being a younger person, when I do poll work, I am like the critical person who knows how to like troubleshoot laptops and stuff. So it's definitely necessary. And I will just add for the people at home that they will pay you. It's not like super great, but it's not volunteer work. So like,
Absolutely.
there's not a lot of reason not to do it. It's important and you will get paid for it.
Thank you.
Serve your community.
Yes, sir.
None.
Okay, I remember what it was. And I think and it may not be as important to, like a lot of people, but I went to the public library about a month ago. And, using a resource. And my question is, and this is a legitimate question, and I know I looked up some of it, but I wanted to know how our public libraries helped out in where they have deficiencies at. Because I know the one down that we do the meetings at in by Carmen Avenue, that probably haven't
Doris
been
Avenue.
Doris Avenue. Yeah, that probably haven't been updated in.
I'll tell you, because
The county.
yeah,
Oh
it's
my
a county
God.
issue.
No, okay,
But
I
it,
get
it
that.
hasn't been updated, because I went there when I was in
But I
junior
do-
high school.
And see, that's the question I have, okay? It's a county issue. And I may be out of line right now, but it sits right in the middle of
It
Jacksonville.
affects us.
Is there any way to find out about the partnership that could go to, because they told me where people can send money to, but me sending $1, my wife sending $2, is pretty much, it ain't gonna do, not gonna get
The
it.
truth of the matter is, it goes back to, because we pay county taxes.
So we just gotta push.
We
to
gotta
that.
push the county. That's
Okay.
what it comes down to, that we get a library that we should have that's up to date with
Okay.
appropriate meeting rooms based on our population
And
growth over those years.
And I brought that up for 2 reasons. And it may not be the right form, but I'll say it here, because we're putting one place right in the spot that I was promised a public library when I moved into the Commons.
That's another story altogether right there.
Well, and
Yeah.
I bring that up because that could have, my last question about how do we get funding for our public library, and if we pay taxes and if that's the answer, I'll take it that way as a private citizen. But I mean, and what also surprised me is the number of patrons that are in the public library. Because one of the things that I began to do is, since I retired, I switched all of the stuff I used to do on base to off base.
Right.
So now I notice more. And that was just a question I had. And if that's the answer, who can I talk to? And we can talk offline about it. So I can
it's
push
something
that up
we
the road a
need
little
to
bit.
push. Even from the legislative side, I used to be on the library board, and that's one thing we pushed.
Okay.
We were working on trying to get that, but you have to have people that understands the need for it.
Okay.
I've heard that, some people think that because of the internet, we don't need libraries.
Okay.
In places where you don't think you should hear that, okay? So it has to be a continuous education process, and you gotta get more support from people to push that.
Well, and let's put it all together real quick. Ms. Marshall was talking about people need to learn about government. I remember every Saturday used to come on, I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the preamble.
You
because of
see,
that, yeah.
And think about our public library, what part they can play, because I saw the list of things that they had going on in there. And like I said, maybe out of line, but it's a community or neighborhood improvement
No,
thing that could happen.
It's all our responsibility to help push that thing,
Okay.
because I've seen over the years how creative our different librarians have been based on the lack of facilities.
Yes.
The things they bring in, and a lot of things they have been able to accomplish as a result of limited resources.
Okay.
But we have to start pushing that, because now you can start talking about makerspace or, incubating business now. We could be a whole lot more innovative in terms of what libraries can do. And one of the major things is meeting space and education, you know, so. We could, like you said, we could carry on this conversation, see what we can do going forward.
All right, so, I think, we have any more, we handled all the questions and comments, and we got our key dates. And, I think we kinda got a good feel for where we are today, so.
And our next meeting for this one is
October.
October
October.
24th.
So, if all hearts and minds are cleared, can we get a motion to?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, motion. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much to our viewing audience and everyone in the room. Thank you very much.